Hey y'all, Choice here. Thank you so much for joining me again for another session of Choice Spirit. Here I want to go back on that topic about, I like to say sleepwalking through life. Sleepwalking through my life, meaning someone else is running us, someone else has the strings. So it's like the puppet on the strings, right? But there's another thing, that is recently brought up. It's been around for a while, and they call it buck breaking. I brought it up in one of my other videos. Yeah, buck breaking. It's a term that we learned about in the U.S., in the United States, but we were unaware that it was being done long before they decided to bring it to the U.S. The people had to learn how to create slaves, to create slaves out of free human beings. So many of them were very confident, knew who they were, stood in their greatness. And so that put a lot of fear in many people. They did not know how they would sleep well at night, knowing they had someone on the plantation that was working to get free. So I'm not really going to go into what all they did to do this. There were many methods that they used to do this. It is said that a man came from one of the islands and wrote a letter called Willie Lynch, instructing people in the Americas on how to break someone, to create a slave. And it's still going on today. It's never ended. They just use different methods of buck breaking. And so I suggested in the other video, and here I go again, saying that the hard, cold truth is many people are walking around not so much that they're sleepwalking, but that they're buck broken. Buck broken. They can be what people want to call woke or aware of things. There are many that are unaware of things, but there's many that are aware, but they dare not step out of their place. They dare not step out of place. They know their place, and they stay in their place. So, the people that are now observing this and seeing the difference in those that are truly walking in that broken state, many of these people were trusted to run countries. They're like the gatekeeper and the overseer of millions of people. And so, just recently there was a meeting, I guess. I'm not sure if it's the International Health something conference given by the Vatican. And certain people were invited, more in line with the 1%. And I'm sure during this conference some ideas were talked about. Many people were not invited, but there were many people that were invited. And I'm sure they discussed certain things that needed to be done around the world. And of course, the giant tech companies and what do you call the people like Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson, and of course Gates people, and quite a few others, and billionaires from the Billionaire Club. And so all of the tech people, the people in the medical field, and billionaires were invited to the private sessions, along with the Vatican. Yeah. And I'm sure that many of the European countries that were participants in this were handed down orders to give to those that will then be charged to follow the orders. It's the ones that are buck broken, and those that choose that may not be buck broken, but for the sake of peace, they're going to have to find a way to either stand up or stand down, or just comply. In the meantime, all of you know that have an idea, this is all the illusion, right? Don't become delusional in the illusion. So with all of that said, in case many who are under the rule of the Vatican may not know that the church is now closed, and they took up the philanthropy and biotechnology and a number of other things. They're no longer really concerned about the church. They're now going to find a way to assert other things in order to maintain control, because things are now getting a little out of control. But we know the Most High is in charge. The Most High, you know. So a slow talk. I had to find a very safe way to say this so that this video, I mean, the little that I do say, it's almost like if you don't share it, no one ever know about it, because I don't see what it is. I think people say more than what I say, and their videos, they say more than what I say, and their videos are shared all over the place. But whatever I'm saying is yeah. Please share this video. Hit the thumbs up. Because it's I'm just letting you know there's been some orders passed down, and the gatekeepers have now gone out, and they're making sure they get to those that are buck broken, and of course those that are not, and hand them an offer that they can't refuse. They created this whole thing for this purpose. And so a lot is involved. And a lot of people have donated their money to this cause. And there's many causes. So, just to remind you, this whole pandemic, I think as soon as this thing was released, after it was planned out, they were already cooking up the formula that they could sell to help. Which now translate to these injections that is supposed to be a multi-purpose injection, right? So please hear what I'm not saying. There's many things that are going on. So this is a multi-purpose agenda that's funded by many. And it's been going on for many years, but this is the culmination of what's happening that you see today. When you're looking outside of yourself, when you're caught up in their world and their narrative, that would be what it is. But you know better than that. You must stand in your knowing. They can't touch you unless you say, come and take a seat. They can't touch you unless you say, come in and take a seat. Let me entertain you. It's a quick word. There's a lot more I'd like to say. I may come back and revisit this and maybe be able to speed it up a little bit so that you know. Okay, there's been a conference a couple of weeks ago, sometime in May, around May 6th, May 7th, something like that. And it's the Vatican has this, had their fifth international conference, in which many European countries, the leaders of many European countries attended, along with Pfizer and a few other in the medical field, and as well, and Johnson & Johnson and other manufacturers of this thing. I think those were the main two. I'm not quite sure. In addition to that, many billionaires. Yeah, the biotech industry that they have now going on. Many heads of countries, the European countries, like I said before, and so part of this 1% club, so I hear, were in attendance with the Pope, the Vatican, and they all came up with a plan, I guess, for the world. And now they've sent everyone out to do the work. So whatever that plan is and whatever's been written, now they're calling all the people, calling all of the heads of states and others to meet so they can hand down the information for what they will do for the masses. This is where we are, people. In their world, in their narrative. I don't know what that means. But anyway, much love. Choice here. Thank you so very much for joining me again for another session of Choice Spirit. Namaste.